Oh look, it's time for part 4 of 100 questions to ask an atheist. Last time our intrepid apologist got out of morality and into science, and it became immediately clear that not only did he have no clue what the hell he was talking about, he almost certainly just copied all these questions from other apologetics websites that also didn't have a clue what they were talking about. Ignorance begets ignorance. The whole thing just turns into a giant religious circle jerk. So let's get jerking, okay? Question 31. How and when did life begin? Well, the oldest evidence we have for life is between 3.8 and 4 billion years ago, and, well, we do have new evidence from the Jack Hills in Australia that may extend that back to 4.1 billion years. Now, how did life begin? That's a bit of an extensive subject for a short video, so I'm not going to bother. It isn't difficult to find that information with a simple Google search. We all know you didn't even try. One thing I will say is that it wasn't some magical man in the sky poofing everything into existence over a 6-day period. That has no evidence for it whatsoever and is completely fucking idiotic. 32. Do you believe in the resurrection of the dead? Nope. Zero evidence. When you're dead, you're dead. If you come back, you weren't dead to begin with. Next. 33. Can you explain the differences between a hypothesis, a theory, and a scientific law? Why, yes. Yes, I can. A hypothesis is an educated guess, something that seems to make sense with a cursory evaluation of the evidence. Said hypothesis is then subjected to rigorous testing. Those that survive, those continue, and those that do not, they're discarded. One or more successful hypotheses may be combined into a theory. A theory is our best currently available synthesis of ideas that explain a scientific observation. Valid theories have been shown to be reliable in all current testing, but they're also open to falsification, meaning that there is some conceivable way that they could be proven false. And a scientific law is one that generally explains a body of observations. Laws explain why a set of observations operate as it does. Theories explain how. Laws are falling out of fashion in science currently, so you probably won't see a lot of those in the future. Did that explain things to your satisfaction? 34. Can you explain the difference between microevolution and macroevolution? Well, there's no such thing as microevolution or macroevolution. There's only evolution. No credible scientist uses those words. They were invented by creationists when the evidence for evolution got so absurdly overwhelming that they could no longer pretend evolution didn't happen at all. So they artificially separated small changes from large changes using terminology that nobody in the scientific realm takes seriously. Now we move to 35. What did Darwin say the fossil record would certainly reveal if the theory of macroevolution were true? Darwin never said anything about macroevolution because the word didn't exist when he was alive. The first usage of micro and macroevolution didn't happen until 1927, and Darwin died in 1882, so he didn't say a damn thing. 36. Can you explain the laws of thermodynamics? Absolutely. There are 3 commonly talked about laws and one other. The first says that energy cannot be created or destroyed within a closed system. The second says that entropy always increases within a closed system. And the third, which really never gets brought up in these creationist arguments, says that as the temperature of a closed system approaches absolute zero, entropy approaches a constant value. And of course, there's the zeroth law, which says that any 2 systems in thermal equilibrium with a third system are in thermal equilibrium with each other. Does that help you any? 37. Have the laws of thermodynamics ever been proven wrong? No, by definition. Any law that has been proven wrong is no longer a law. That doesn't mean the laws haven't been misapplied or that we haven't refined the laws over time. Science constantly changes as we learn more. Number 38. What is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. It can be potential, energy that's stored in some object that's available to do work, or kinetic, energy that's being expended to do work through the motion of said object, or chemical or nuclear. And there's lots of different kinds of energy, but you get the idea. 39. Why is it that the vast majority of us die between the ages of 40 and 80, no matter where we live or what we eat? Now that's actually kind of funny because the average lifespan in the West these days is 85 years. The vast majority of us don't die at age 80. And as science continues to advance, our average lifespan will continue to increase. Scientists predict that by 2050, the average life expectancy will be between 89 and 94 years. Further, the number of people who live to be over 100 doubles every 13 years on average. So this question is just wrong. And finally, number 40. What do we know about cells today that Darwin did not? Lots of things. Did you have anything particular in mind? I mean, Darwin didn't know anything about DNA, obviously, because it wasn't discovered until long after he was dead. It doesn't matter, though, because Darwin wasn't operating on the cellular level. He was operating on the morphological one. He was looking at expressed characteristics for which his work was perfectly adequate. But here's something that the crazy creationists seem utterly ignorant of. Modern science doesn't care about Darwin. We've got 150 years of scientific discovery that doesn't rely on Darwin at all. But this is something that creationists try to pull out all the time. They look at famous people in the distant past and point out where they were wrong. Okay, so what? Science is a constantly correcting process. We constantly reevaluate the ideas of the past to see if they still work with the knowledge of the present. And those that do survive. Those that don't get replaced. That's how science works, and it's sad that creationists are so completely and utterly ignorant of that fact. See, that's really where all these apologetic questionnaires go off the rails, because the people asking the questions don't have the slightest idea what the questions actually mean. They have no concept of the answers. They don't understand science, just like they don't understand morality. They don't understand much of anything. They're looking for these gotcha questions. They want answers that fail the, well, it seems to me test. They want their followers, the stupid, ignorant theists who don't know any better, to say, well, I don't get it, so it has to be wrong. These questions aren't made for scientists. They aren't made for atheists. They're made for stupid people whose eyes glaze over whenever someone with half a brain starts to talk. That's why these people believe in imaginary friends in the sky, because they're stupid, uneducated, and ignorant. And that pretty much describes religion, doesn't it?